Hello everyone, my name is Denny Joseph. I'm an MBA student from Christianity College, Bangalore. So, this is an assignment in the subject of human rights, and the topic that I have taken is the human rights violation upon African American by the police officers in the US. So, the case study that I have taken is the Eric Garner case study. So, Eric Garner is actually an African American who has been brutally killed by one of the police officers in the New York City. So first of all, going upon the introduction, we can see that in the U.S. a lot of African Americans are being harassed by the police officers, and they have been killed mercilessly by the officers without even having charges upon them. So this has given to the start of the widespread protest called the Black Lives Matter. In this module, we'll be taking the case of Eric Garner, an African American who have been killed by the police officers by the name Daniel Pandalio. So, first of all, let us see who is Eric Garner. So, Eric Garner was a 43-year-old African American man. He was a horticulturist at the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation before quitting for health reasons. Garner, who was married to Esau Garner, has been described by his friends as a neighborhood peacemaker and as a generous, congenial person. He was the father of six children and had three grandchildren, and at the time of his death, had a 3-month old child. Garner had been arrested by the New York Police Department more than 30 times since 1918 on charges such as assault, resisting arrest, and grand larceny. According to an article in the New York Times, many of those arrests had been for allegedly selling unlicensed cigarettes. In 2007, he filed a handwritten complaint in federal court accusing a police officer of conducting a cavity search of him on the street, digging his fingers in his rectum in the middle of the street while people passed by. Garner had, according to the New York Times, recently told lawyers at the legal aid that he intended to take all the case against him to trial. At the time of the incident, he was out on bail for allegedly selling untaxed cigarettes, driving without license, marijuana possession, and false personation. Now, let us understand who is Daniel Pandalio. So, Daniel Pantaleo was a 29-year-old New York City Police Department officer living in Ettingville, Staten Island. He joined the New York Police Department in the year 2006 after graduating from Monsignor Farrell High School and with a bachelor's degree from the College of Staten Island. Pantaleo was the subject of two civil rights lawsuits in 2013, where plaintiffs accused him of falsely arresting them and abusing them. In one of the cases, he and other officers allegedly ordered two black men to strip naked on the street for a search, and the charges against the men were dismissed. So, what really happened? Now, let us come to the entire story. What really happened? So, on July 17, 2014, Eric Garner, a 43-year-old African American man, was killed in the New York City borough of Staten Island by Daniel Pantaleo, a New York City Police Department officer, after they later put him in a prohibited chokehold while arresting him. Video footage of the incident generated a widespread national attention and raised questions about the use of force by the law enforcement. New York Police Department officers approached Garner on July 17 on suspicion of selling single cigarettes from packs without tax stamps. After after Garner told the police that he was tired of being harassed and that he was not selling cigarettes, the officers attempted to arrest Garner. When Pandaleo placed his fingers on Garner, Garner pulled his arms away. Pandaleo then placed his arms around Garner's neck and wrestled him to the ground. With multiple officers pinning him down, Garner repeated the words, "I can't breathe," 11 times while lying face down on the sidewalk. After Garner lost consciousness, he remained lying on the sidewalk for 7 minutes while the officers waited for an ambulance to arrive. Garner was pronounced to death at an area hospital approximately 1 hour later. So the medical examiners report and the autopsy. So the medical examiners ruled Eric Garner's death a homicide. Specifically, an autopsy indicated that Garner's death resulted from compression of neck, compression of chest, and prone position during physical restraint by the police. And also, asthma, heart disease, and obesity were cited as contributing factors. So the trial of Pandaleo. On December 4, 2014, a County grand jury decided not to indict Pandaleo. This decision stirred public protest and rallies with charges of police brutality made by protesters. By December 28, 2014, at least 50 demonstrations had been held nationwide in response to the Garner case, while hundreds of demonstrations against general police brutality counted Garner as a focal point. On July 13, 2015, an out of court settlement was reached under which the city of New York would pay the Garner family $5.9 million. In 2019, the US Department of Justice declined to bring criminal charges against Pandaleo under federal civil rights law. No. Pandaleo's termination. On August 2, 2019, at the New York Police Department disciplinary hearing regarding Pandaleo's treatment of Garner, an administrative judge, New York Police Department Deputy Commissioner of Trials Rosemary Maldonado recommended that Pandaleo's employment be terminated. Pandaleo was fired on August 19, 2019, more than 5 years after Garner's death. So, so on concluding and on understanding the whole scenario, we can see that every year there are a lot of African Americans that are being harassed by the police in the US, and the state does not take a clear action against these. So there are many such people who gets killed by brutal actions taken by the police. So the death of Eric Garner has led to many protests across the world and initiated the movement called the Black Lives Matter. So from this, we can understand that there's a pure discrimination based on the color or the race uh, of that particular man. So this is a human right violation that happened in the US. US, as we can see that it is a well-developed country. It's part of UN General United Nations, and it's a part for making the Declaration for Human Rights. And we can see the constitution of the US, which includes all the fundamental rights. So we know that every human deserves certain right and dignity. So this is a clear case of human rights violation that happened, and this is not one of the cases that happens to this particular group, the so-called African American, but this is one of the many such cases that happen to these types of people. So Eric Garner's case has led to the movement called Black Lives Matter, and this has a worldwide protest. It's not restricted to the US itself, but this has been spread to the Europe and other parts of the world, and it had a worldwide recognition. So this case has resulted in a human right violation, and thus I conclude my module. And thank you for listening to me and spending the time, your precious time. Thank you.